Hello and welcome to a glorious unboxing. That, my friends, is a conversation tree, and this is a conversation tree press unboxing. Technically the second title they sold, but the first released. This, my friends, is Faun by Joe Hill, the deluxe edition. Ooh, this is very interesting foam. But we have our foam. So, Faun has actually been released in 4 states. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I have to zoom out a little bit. Faun was released in 4 states. We have a standard edition, which is numbered to 500, limited to 500 copies. I don't think it was numbered. This, which is the deluxe edition, which is numbered, which is 200 copies. I've got number 57. Mr. Gear was superb and able to match number 57, which has kind of become my Ludlow number. It's become my Richard Tong number. So this is bound by Ludlow and Richard Tong, which is superb. This is a short story, but look at the cloth binding. Wow. The binding of just the slipcase. Not the book itself is cloth, that's paper. But the slipcase lined with swaddle. And it's kind of got a leather cap to the head and foot of the slipcase. It kind of gives me Centipede Press vibes. Very nice. The book itself, wow. Oh, wow. Got gilded edges up on the top there. So this, of course, each book is going to be slightly unique because these are Freya Scott of Paperwilds boards. So hand marbled paper. Nice little inset. Actually, I don't know if that's inset. It's kind of, the boards are pasted over them. A little leather binding on the spine that says Faun. And of course, we have our leather band edges as well. Wow. Look at those end papers. So, anyways, Faun is a short story by Joe Hill, and that is the most underwhelming. This is not the title page. This is just a little, preview, if you will. Title page is the next one, but that's a very underwhelming Faun right there. My camera zooms in on it. Faun by Joe Hill, completely printed letterpress, heavily illustrated by Francois Vaillancourt. This is actually the third small press publication of Faun, but the first letterpress one and the first standalone copy. It was originally published at Home in the Dark by Subterranean Press, which was a Lawrence Block anthology, an edited anthology. It then received its own standalone treatment away from Lawrence Block, not standalone, that's not in Full Throttle, which did get a small press treatment through Subterranean Press. So both At Home in the Dark and Full Throttle were from Subterranean Press, or at least At Home in the Dark was originally Subterranean Press. Full Throttle, it was a special edition of a William Morrow title. And now finally, Conversation Tree Press is giving it its own standalone. So Faun is a hunting story. It's a story about greed. It's a story about hunting. It's a story about wanting to go up against something more. It follows. This is Francois Vaillancourt's gorgeous color artwork, tipped in. I love that detail. And you can see there's very huge margin sizes. This is a short story. I think its short story is only like 30-something pages. But that is fine. So anyways, it's a story about a mysterious little door that can lead these hunters to another world. And if you couldn't have guessed by the fact that the title of the story is Faun, there are some mythical creatures, including fawns, on the other side of that door. And so, for the price of, it's almost, I think it's $250,000. It's been a couple years since I've read this. I read it in At Home in the Dark. For the price of $250,000, these hunters can go through this tiny door to hunt. There's a faun, to hunt these fawns. And it's not your everyday happy-go-lucky mythical world. This world is forever in a state of twilight. You don't know whether, it's the start of a day or the end of a day, but kind of in that little cusp between the two. And I'm loving Francois' gorgeous, gorgeous color artwork. And, oh, yes! So the short story is split into two parts. First part is before they enter the door. Second part is once they've entered the door. Splitting the two of them is this very, very nice, once again, every piece is unique paper to represent kind of the barrier between the worlds. Part two, their side of the door. It's a gorgeous little detail. I don't know what the artwork up ahead is going to show. I hope none of it's going to be spoiler territory. This is fold-out artwork. Whoa, look at that. That is incredible. I'm going to try to peek at this artwork before showing it to you because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know if it is free bed for flies. One of the spiders, the spider they encounter on the other side of the door. Got some more fawns there. Going for a little family stroll. It's actually it's reminiscent of a Ray Bradbury short story, which is actually talked about in Faun. They talk about the Ray Bradbury short story in which some hunters go back in time to hunt dinosaurs, and one of the hunters steps off of the path. And I'm not going to show you that one. Ignore that one. And he steps off the path, and when he gets back to the future, realizes that he has changed all of the future by stepping on a butterfly on accident. You know, kind of the precursor to the butterfly effect right there. Rumor has it that the butterfly effect got its nomenclature from that, but I think it was disproven that it just happened to be a weird coincidence that, you know, the butterfly effect, where the butterfly flaps its wings across the globe and, you know, causes a hurricane, just happened to also be used as a butterfly within Bradbury's short story. Anyways, so this is the edition of Faun. Anthony Gear is the second publication of Conversation Tree Press. Like I said, the first publication is Peter Pan. It is a collection of both Peter Pan stories, novels, which is gorgeously illustrated by Charles Vess. And that hasn't been released yet. That should be coming out soon. Vess has received his own copy, but it has not. That'll be a New Year thing. Upcoming from Conversation Tree Press, we have the first as I'm aware of, special edition of Flowers for Algernon, which is pretty wild. It's actually kind of funny that Flowers for Algernon happened that way. There is oh man, what is the name of the press? There was like a democratic press. It's by the people, for the people, where people can, those who are partaking in this press, as I just try to focus my camera, voted on what's going to be published. And the number one story they got voted on was the short story for Flowers for Algernon. And they tried to get the rights, and they couldn't get the rights. And the reason they couldn't get the rights is because Conversation Tree Press had already snatched them up. So anyways, like I said, this is the deluxe copy, 200 copies, 500 unnumbered standard states, 26 lettered states bound in goatskin leather, then 10 Roman numeral states, which they haven't even given details out for that one, I don't believe. All of these were printed letterpress by Nomad Letterpress. Each book was bound by Ludlow's. So Richard Tong doing his magic here. That's why thank you so much, Mr. Gear, Anthony, for matching number 57 for me, which matches my Lyra's press numbers. Matches a couple other titles as well, such as Arete, except for the one that they didn't match. But they matched one for Arete. Anyways, this is the Deluxe State, 200 copies. It is bound, is printed on 145 gram paper. The standard is 120, so it's a little bit thinner. This is signed by both Joe Hill and Francois Vaillancourt. But wow, what a nice publication. It is stunning, to say the least. Copies, I mean, it is a short story. And, I mean, it is a very, very fine press short story. So it is, it's pricier. I was going to try to swing for the standard and the deluxe to try to show them both to you, but that was just not in the cards. And, well, as much as my wallet would have preferred the standard edition, I had to go for the deluxe just because I wanted to try to keep that number going, because I really wanted a copy of to secure a copy of Flowers for Algernon. And Flowers for Algernon did sell out. So that, whether it was a good call or not, I like to think it was. You'd probably be like, well, I made it to public sale, so, you probably could have just bought it anyways. And to that I say, shut up. So I think all of the editions of Faun are still available. Lettered is probably sold out. Roman numeral has not gone on sale yet, but I believe the standard and this deluxe are still available. Yes, it is a big price to pay for what's essentially less than 50 pages of paper, but it is a very, very fine 50 pages of paper. I think it's due to the cold and due to the weather that the boards are kind of bowing out a little bit there. You see the little bowing. But it'll be housed in the slipcase, which isn't too bad. It might be a combination of the paper as well as the paper boards, I should say, as well as the temperature. It just came in from the cold. Bring your books in from the cold. They're cold too. Seriously, very excited to see what Conversation Tree Press is doing in the future. I know they're doing a series called Weird. St. Joshi is going to be doing weird compendiums, like letterpressed compendiums. Kind of similar or akin to Centipede Press's Masters of the Weird Tale, I believe. But letterpressed, which means they're going to be expensive as all hell. I am probably not going to be buying those because that is going to be way outside my budget. But when given the opportunity to buy a nice Joe Hill limited edition, I'll buy the nice Joe Hill limited edition. If you want a more traditional size Joe Hill limited edition, then you should definitely support Levidian Publications, because I hear there's another one right around the corner. It's not a new title. It's a title, it's a previously published Joe Hill book, but it's getting a nice Levidian treatment. So very excited to see what comes of that. If you'd rather just watch these videos and live vicariously through me, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.